With decades upon decades of source material for many of today's top comic book movies, it's reasonable to understand that there's so much things that come towards the director that have to be turned down that inevitably some of them end up looking really cool and we end up wanting to see them in the final product. Today we're talking about a rejected design for Doctor Strange. So a lot of times when we see some of these conceptual arts, these didn't even make it into some of the actual books that release with the corresponding movie. As many of you know, and I talk about it plenty, I buy every single one of those comic book books that's based on the art of the film that has all the concept art. And I own the Doctor Strange one, and I've never seen this till it was released online. Now what this is another design that is clearly a radical departure from what we ended up getting. Obviously, as you can tell just by looking at it, more blue, a lot of yellow, no red. And again, we don't know why this was rejected or if they'll ever use it again, but you can kind of see the cool approach to it, the way the white is on the chest and the symbol it forms. Obviously, you know, the cape at this point, we know when they were looking at it as a conceptual design, was not something that was sentient. It was just kind of a normal cape. So again, it kind of shows you the approach they took towards it and what could have been. Now, ultimately, I think they ended up settling on pretty much the perfect design for Doctor Strange. You know, very indicative of the Ditko comics while also being modern and having those Marvel layers upon layers on top of the suit. But this sort of just gives you an idea of what maybe we could have had, or maybe what even we will have when it comes to the future of the MCU, because who knows, you know, what they're gonna do. And personally for me, I feel like the suit was still somewhat used, or at least the design, because when Doctor Strange takes off his cape, you're pretty much getting rid of all the red that he has on it, and then it's still largely blue, which tells me that maybe they looked at this and they were like, well, we can incorporate that. And honestly, I like that. I like when they use pieces of other concept art and kind of, you know, like mash them together almost to get something. And hopefully, you know, we'll see something like this somewhere down the road, because again, I think it's really cool and it shouldn't go to waste. It's a very unique, clean looking design.